In this video, we want to talk about a use case called SISE-net. So this is the use case template for that, and let me walk through that. So first up, what is the problem? The problem is industry and government still struggle during disasters to coordinate operationally. And this is impossible to do if you don't have information that's the same. In other words, you have to synchronize the information so everyone's looking at the same transportation data or damage assessment data at the same instant. Without synchronizing information, you can't synchronize operations. So what are the impacts? The big one is delays. The delays occur in decision-making, in transportation, in movement. There's so many factors that bring into that. And you've got, bad old information. Sometimes it's outdated that gets out there. You make operational mistakes, and of course the cost overruns, not to mention life safety. So it's a big deal. So the people involved here are industry, states, and federal government agencies, primarily CISA and FEMA. So what is the next step in the use case? So what information is needed? We have to synchronize the basics of transportation, weather, damage assessments, and impacted areas. That requires both public and private coordination. The data needs to be rated for operational readiness level. Is it a 1, 2, 3, or 4? 4 is ready to go right now. You can make decisions on it. 1 is ready to go, and 4 isn't. 4 you can use, but it's at your own risk, right? And so how do you organize that data? It's got to be organized by use case, right? That's the trick. Use case. And why is that? Because people can't use that data if it's not going to work by use case. It'd be too much. So the sensitivity of that data is FOUO. We do not want this out in the public. And so the solution the private sector's come up with within the Fleet Response Working Group is called a SISE-net. It's a data hub. It synchronizes data between all systems that it touches, and it coordinates information and operations on a use case by use case basis. So let's talk about what that looks like technically. So here's how it works. So the SISE-net serves as a data hub. The network is how we connect up these other systems. So over here you have web EOCs, right? And you have a number of other systems out there. Over here you have Esri, right? You have Esri over here in some shops. It doesn't care. The SISE serves up data by use case. So the trick is organizing the data, ranking the data, meaning ORL 1, ready to go. ORL 4 you could use, but it's not quite as reliable. And ORL 2 or 3 are good. So you organize them by use case. So the first one we're going to be looking at is damage assessment. So the first opportunity here is we're going to use Dominion Power and Virginia, and we're going to sync up that information through the SISE, where it can be two-way information, and we're going to feed that into DHS CISA as a consumer. DHS CISA isn't going to contribute, they're going to consume, right? The trick is we get everybody synchronized on damage assessment data. Now we can actually coordinate operations. Then next up is transportation, then weather, then floods, then aerial imagery. It's endless how it can work. But SISE-net is a data hub that provides that service out. And all of these people work to find the data, vet the data, organize the data. So it's a consortium of people managing the data source, right? And that's what makes SISE-net work. So today we have this working right now. CISA is plugged in through GeoCollaborate, kind of a middleware software package. Dominion is using Esri, and Virginia is using WebEOC. And so by synchronizing that data on damage assessment will be our first one, we'll be able to get access to Dominion's preliminary and final damage assessments and get real-time information from Virginia with regards to the roads and the damage assessment from their perspective. All that will appear in one use case, organized in there and then fed out. So it's a great concept. It's a very simple concept, but that's the background for SISE-net.